Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Jake.
This is Fleric.
and this is Mac.
And this is our 2022 Kyushu preview podcast. We are recording this episode a little bit later than usual. If you listen to the Kyushu Bansuke recap episode, you kind of saw the whole scheduling process for this, and it got delayed to today. So we're recording this, Thursday, 3 days prior to the Basho. So still just a little bit before we know if anybody's officially Kyujo or not, but we got a good idea on a couple of guys at least. Before we dive into the Kyushu Basho, Jake, why don't you give us an update on amateur sumo?
Part of the reason that we're recording today is that I leave on a plane in like 8 hours. I am going down to Houston for the Houston Open. That will be on the Grand Sumo Breakdown YouTube channel Saturday evening. I believe 6 Central roughly, but go check out Shogeki Sumo or the Tokyo Night Festival on Instagram for full details there. So that'll be streaming this Saturday, the 12th of November. And then we also just released our second visit with Ronin Sumobeya out of Florida, and they are hosting their first tournament on December 3rd, the Ronin Sumo tournament. So
Video should be up tomorrow on YouTube, so stay tuned.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, we the audio is out there though. But yeah, so we got those two coming up, and I am gonna have a late night recording and editing this guy. Because I gotta get it done.
Mac, Fleric, stretch those answers. Thought out.
My notebook is ready.
I've given up on the idea of getting sleep tonight, so it doesn't make a difference.
I'm sure sleep delirious Jake is gonna be all the better for the Houston Open.
Well, I don't know exactly what we're doing all day Friday, but I'm hoping that a lot of it is going to be sleep for me. We'll see what happens. That's all I got until December, when we will be doing another newsletter and also a end of the year award show for amateur sumo, in addition to our normal pro sumo episode.
Yes, that is right. So we'll have our year-end award show that we have at the end of every year. We will also be doing our 4th annual Rikishi popularity poll at the end of this Basho. We'll send that out to everybody. And this time we promise to have speedier results and a full podcast dedicated to the results. Last year things just got crazy busy, and I believe I was super sick around the time that all that was happening. So
you and Jake both were super sick, if I recall.
Well, I got COVID right at Christmas but was fine, and then Ryan was sick for like 6 straight months or something.
Well, yeah, Jake and I spent Christmas together because our regular Christmas plans got canceled because we both ended up having COVID. So we're like, we'll just spend Christmas together.
I can't get more COVID, so you want to come over, Ryan?
Yeah. And then like a month later, I just got the sickest I've ever been in my entire life, and I was kind of sick in between. Don't have immunodeficiencies. Keep your immune system strong. If you don't have to, don't be on immunosuppressants. It kind of kills you during the winter when all the stuff is going around and you have a freaking 2-year-old bringing everything.
Yeah,
into
I was
your
gonna
household.
I was gonna say, with the addition of a 2-year-old,
It
it's
hasn't
very
helped.
bold.
Can't
Very
confirm,
bold of
has
you.
not helped.
Very bold of you to promise that it's gonna be speedier than last year, but
Well, I'm hoping that
it's not me.
with my new work from home position, that'll at least limit the amount of other people that I'm interacting with and pick up any illnesses from. But once again, you still have that 2-year-old factor where that just doesn't matter.
She's out there licking doorknobs left and right. Nothing you can do. She'll be bringing something home.
Quite literally, probably, yes. So we have a Patreon that you can join if you would like. You can join at the $1 level where you will get a compliment every basho. And Jake is going to go through and give a compliment to 16 of our fine patrons here in a moment. You can also sign up at a $3 level where not only do you get a compliment, but if you ask us any questions, we are honor bound to answer that question for you. So if you are interested in helping support the show, basically it's just paying for Libsyn so that we can post the podcast for free, any equipment upgrades, and then helps us send out free t-shirts at the end of every boss show for our bold predictions segment. So Jake, why don't you compliment our fine patrons?
You make it sound so transactional. I like it. So
you give us $1, you get a compliment. It is transactional.
End of business. Yeah.
And we love you dearly.
Indeed.
We have now accomplished one business with the following individuals. Mosho Gaeru, Jorge Lamarca, King Arthur, Emo Dingo, Nikki Shands. I say Emo Dingo, my emphasis made it sound like, as opposed to the other dingoes.
Right.
Benedict Bull, Trent.
Emo Dingo, Grunge Dingo, Punk Dingo.
Scene Dingo. Yeah, exactly.
Ringo Dingo.
That made me uncomfortable for some reason.
Thank you.
Daniel Roberts, T. Higgins, Dave Rodriguez, Josh Schaff, Caroline, Michael Chung, Jessica Buckland, Casey Mustang, and Rob Shields. You guys are the tiny towels that dry the sweat from our podcast, that we may record our episodes with minimal slipperiness.
Just the Tochi Notion fit. Just get all up in there.
Yeah. We just take our patrons and just. Yep.
We don't advertise it because why would we? But we are pound for pound the sweatiest sumo podcast.
Oh God, there's a reason this is a shoulders up episode.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
80% it's me. Not gonna lie.
That's why you're wearing the sweatshirt, Flarek. It's literally the sweat shirt.
Mm-hmm.
There's not.
I'm
much
not a smart
fluff
man.
left. Yeah, it's just sweat.
So right now we are going to check on Jake's preparedness for this episode and see if he can save himself some editing time, as we have a voicemail from B to recap what happened in the previous basho. So Jake, why don't you hit us with that voicemail?
I'm trying to share not my screen, so yeah. No,
I was like, what are you doing?
I only want the computer audio as opposed to like the screen and the sound. So somehow this perplexes me every time. But
so you're slightly more prepared than I thought you were, but still got a little bit of mess, which is all we want on this podcast.
Like a C at best, but I still passed.
Yeah, C's get
still
degrees.
passed.
Anyways, here's B to tell us about the last tournament as a recap.
Hey guys, B here with your completely straightforward, no wackiness at all Aki review. So I'm kind of surprised at the fan base this time around. I'm not saying everyone needs to be a complete smark about booking, but if you've been paying attention at all the last year, you would have known Tamawashi was taking this one. Watch his last few tournaments, and you'll see that there's been slowly building him back up, giving him high-profile wins, winning records, having him beat top guys in one-offs. One thing I'm conflicted about is how the younger guys have been doing their matches. It's clear newer talent have a preference for those like hard grappling Shuto style fighting displays, which is great. But man, when you see two older workers do a good old fashioned tachi-eye chest to chest, I mean, it's the equivalent of a thigh slap on a super kick. It's what sumo sounds like, man. I also think it's a little unfair that Terunofuji keeps getting slotted as a comedy wrestler when he could be mixing it up with the other guys. I know they keep him toward the bottom so as to not upset the upper card, but let him pace his own match and the kid can go. Oh, and speaking of matches, I have a really, really bad feeling that whoever was booking Takakeisho as Goedo may be booking Teru as Harumafuji. And of course, no one should be surprised that we had to have yet another jobbing of Takayasu to cap off the tournament, which I'm sure had to be painful. I mean, like, not nearly as painful as, say, waiting 4 years to meet guys you've been talking to, and one of them pays you back for that by slamming you backwards onto a tawara made of battle rope, giving you rope burn down your shoulder blade. But still painful, you know. See you for Kyushu.
I mean,
That was me.
yeah,
did that.
I feel like we've made it very clear that this is a highly antagonistic relationship that we have with B. So he should not be all that surprised that Jake treated him as he did, as he deserved to be treated.
What we are talking about, of course, we will be releasing a bonus episode at some point on this trip, but we did there was a training event that me and Matt got to attend here in Iowa. And B, being just the terrible reporter that he is, was not actually in Japan at the time, so he was able to meet us in person.
That's not what we don't pay him for.
Exactly.
You are in Japan, B.
And it was a great time. I think I beat him 2 for 2. So yeah, ta-da.
Yeah, my shoulder says no.
Yeah, Mac didn't have a great time though.
I did not have a great time.
Like the very first time that he attempted sumo, his shoulder was like, nope, never mind.
Well,
nope. Like it had swollen up. Just that Jake saw it. It's like it was bad.
That sounds exactly like Mac.
Yep.
Wasn't it your bachelor party where we did like a obstacle course,
Yeah.
like 5K race, and you like destroyed your knee or something like that?
I
No, it's
separated
shoulder.
my
Already-
shoulder blade completely. I
Okay.
separated my collarbone from. That wasn't good.
yeah,
But I made
Same
it over
shoulder.
that wall.
he did, and I just walked around it.
Yes, you just walked around. I'm like, I'm gonna climb over this.
Oh, never mind on that one.
No, thank you.
Anyways, though, I appreciate the voicemail, B. Looking forward to throwing you around again. I kind of have to take my victories when I can get them in this sport. I've tried it twice, and I've gotten bodied like almost every time. I beat a child in Grand Rapids, and I beat our field reporter in Davenport, and that's what I got. It's fun,
All right.
though.
Let's not waste any time on this podcast. Let's get right into it, guys.
All right,
Right,
the
you are.
40-minute mark is not hit. We can keep bullshitting. Hang on.
Oh, dear.
When I was a young child, I thought of
No, go on.
no. Let's get back into it. Enough foolishness. Enough of this foolishness.
Well, no,
Let's get
Flair,
right into it.
It does remind me of an interesting anecdote, because when Flaric was a child, luckily I didn't know Flaric at the time that he thought of this, or whoever he was around thought of this, but apparently you played a game where you would sit in a box and then people on the outside would have a knife, tap a side of the box, say,
Yeah.
hope you're not on this side, and then stab the box with a knife.
What?
Yeah.
So that's what
box
Flaric...
stab.
Oh my God, Flaric.
Naturally, of course. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what we called it.
So I think that's the only conclusion that we could come up with for what Flaric said. When I was a young child, I thought of
Yeah.
what was it? Tap, tap, box, stab, stab.
Yes, yeah. There might be a stabby in there somewhere, but yes.
Oh, stabby. Okay.
We were very bored in the Midwest Iowa until we got internet. I'll tell you what.
Welcome to Iowa.
So somehow I never got that bored.
Nope.
All right, now let's stop wasting time. Let's
Okay.
get right into it. And we're going to start by talking about a Rikishi who more likely than not will not be participating, but it is our Yokozuna Terunofuji. He pulled out of the Akibasho after a day 9 loss to Takayasu, citing a myriad of knee, ankle injuries, all of that fun stuff. Shortly after the Basho, the YDC kind of gave him leniency to be treated, saying even if you got to be Kyujo November, get back to full health, get back to Yokozuna Sumo. So he's not under any pressure to like, hey, show up, buddy, or you gotta get out of here. At least not yet. We'll see how much patience they have for Terunofuji. But it didn't prevent him from going on the Jungyo tour, at least not right away. He actually had his Yokozuna promotion party in October between the Basho.
Better late than never.
As that was delayed due to COVID. And then after that happened, then he pulled out of the Jungyo tour around October 20th. So, I mean, only 20 days. God, it's already November 10th. It feels like October
Yes, it
20th
is.
was like 3 days ago.
Well, it didn't help that yesterday was like 70 degrees and humid.
True.
Yes.
But he pulled out of the Jungyo tour around October 20th. Speculation saying he only participated in it so that he was able to fulfill his obligations as Yokozuna and have that promotion party, which he would not be able to do if he was Kyujo from Jungyo. He had surgery on both of his knees on October 18th prior to him going Kyujo. And per Terunofuji's doctor, his right kneecap has been pulled outwards. I apologize. I need to get a drink of water.
I'll finish this one off. And in both knees, the kneecap and the tibia grew spurs that limited his range of motion.
Oh,
That is
so
an
actual
unappealing
spurs.
set of words.
Yeah.
Oh, ow.
Yeah, Mac, you know
Yeah.
something about kneecaps not being where they're supposed to, don't you?
Indeed, I
That's
do.
right.
I have dislocated my right kneecap and sheared off a piece of cartilage that was about 4/4 thick and about as big around. It was not good.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was not a fun day. But hey,
So
I
Mac
got a
went
date out of
Kyujo
that.
for a little
I was
while.
gonna
I went
say-
Kyujo, but I got a date out of that.
I like how you have all these injuries and you're like, you know what I should try? I should try sumo.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, it worked for a little while. Just a
Yeah.
little stretching, a little relocation of a shoulder blade. It was fine.
Yeah,
there you
it's
go.
Great. Ryan, we're on the second to last bullet point of that same section.
All right, so Terunofuji is already off of his crutches and has said that the pain has subsided. But when asked about his participation just a couple of days ago, he said, "I've only recently started to move my body. In this state, it's unreasonable, isn't it? I'll speak with my Oyakata and decide."
As
So-
he's eating a bag of Cheetos.
Exactly. I don't know. I maybe will participate. I got to talk to him and
Once-
find out.
I've never moved my body before, but I've just started. Some awkward translation, but yeah, I think that's about as close as a Rikishi could ever be to like
Yeah.
saying no without having
Yeah.
the doctor's note yet.
Fun side story. I just went off to grab some water because my throat is really dry right now, and I realized I still have a bottle full of water from work earlier today. So
Nice.
could have prevented all of that.
But that's okay.
I had to read a whole sentence, Ryan.
Yeah.
I
I'll never
apologize.
get that back.
Yeah. That's the messiness the fans come for. Stuff like that.
Indeed. We stretched the 40 minutes of bullshittery so it's just sprinkled throughout the episodes.
I feel like we're just getting messier and messier, honestly.
Indeed.
But yeah, that's the story of Terunofuji. Not really a whole lot to analyze. Just kind of wanted to give everybody an update on where he is at right now. I honestly don't know if it looks good for him doing the Hatsu Basho. Kind of just all depends on how the recovery goes, how he's feeling, if he can get back into shape. So I think it's very clear, no Yokozuna this Basho, which always kind of opens things up and can make for a crazy tournament. And I think, yes, Jake.
Oh, I was just gonna say we're gonna look very silly when he enters and wins this tournament with no
Oh,
trouble.
totally. Goes 15-0.
I think I read something where he wasn't entirely saying like outruling it completely. So you're saying like maybe I could do it, but I don't
just
know.
sit down.
Maybe.
Seriously, man.
I think the I may be able to do it happened a couple of weeks ago, a little closer to his surgery time. And I think more recently he's saying like, it's kind of unreasonable to expect me to do this at this time, right?
Like you said it's like that's kind of unreasonable, right? It's like
Yeah.
completely. So don't do it.
Yeah. So Terunofuji, if you have any thoughts, which I don't think you do, but if you have any thoughts of competing, don't.
Listen to the YDC West.
Mhm.
Don't.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For once, we are in lockstep with YDC East. You have leniency. Rest.
We'll allow it this time.
For the love of God, rest.
Speaking of YDC, they had some harsh words for our Ozeki after the past Basho. They harshly criticized them, including Takakeisho, who has had double-digit wins in each of the past two tournaments. They went so far as to suggest that the Ozeki demotion system, which has been in place since 1969, should be reformed, saying that a particularly bad performance should drop you to Komosubi instead of Sekiwake. It is very important to note that the YDC has no power in making a decision like this,
I was about to say, like, wait, what?
or changing any sort of rule. I think their chairman said, like, we're just the voice of the fans. This is what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
But-
Just-
Specifically about the Yokozuna, right? As in
It's about-
their name, Yokozuna Deliberation Council.
well, they give their input on like the Ozeki and other Sanyaku as like people that are potential Yokozuna. So they kind of give their input on them as well. But them kind of saying like, hey, this is what the people would want. We're the voice of the people. Would you guys want a change to the Ozeki demotion system?
I think this is just like we just got through election season, and it's the same
Also,
thing
yes.
here where it's like, well, the people want this. What a coincidence! That's what you want, right? It's just that. It's just the YDC. I think we've always joked, not really joked. We've always stated the fact that they are just kind of grumpy old men, and that's kind of their thing, and that's all they do. So like, I don't take very much stock in that whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right.
Bring it back to the question about the Ozeki system. It's interesting. I'm a little bit torn, but I will say it sometimes feels bad to have like that Goedo or that Shodai that kind of go 8 and 7, then 7 and 8 back and forth, and they still remain like the very highest, like second from the top rank, even though they're not really performing too well. I won't be opposed to maybe some change for that, but to get Ozeki is really hard. So it's, I don't know, to get like a really good benefit, it's hard to get. So it's obviously a perk to do it. So it's kind of nice.
No, I don't really think there's much you can change the current system. I like that you have the protection of the rank. I wouldn't want to see that change. I like that you have the quick ability to gain it back, saying maybe you like Takakeisho, who was just hurt for a couple of basho when he was originally Ozeki, dropped the rank and then was able to springboard right back up to it. Should it be taken away from you because he got hurt for a couple of basho?
Yeah. But maybe change it so
performances. I mean,
the only thing I could think of is like you got to get more winning records than losing records in a year. You can't go 3 Kachikoshi, 3 Makekoshi. If you do that in a calendar year, you're done to Sekiwake. That's the only thing I could do.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah, I wouldn't
hate that.
Think that would happen.
Honestly.
No, I wouldn't either.
Like it's like the Ozeki system's not super. It's still relatively modern compared to all of the history of sumo.
Yeah.
Same with the Yokozuna. So I don't know. I think there could be maybe some changes to that, but I don't know. It'll be impossible to get everyone to agree. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, no way.
Yeah, I'd kind of like to have it stay the way it's at, just because that's the way that has been working. And yeah, if it's that hard to earn the prize should be worth something, you know. And I that's kind of my default thought.
Yeah. The plus side is it does keep these like superstars up at the top. Like even like Guido was kind of underperforming. He was still like that rock he had to get past to like face against the Yokozuna. It was like kind of a stepping stone. So
That's true.
Which I think is why it's kind of designed to keep the people who have historically been great and like be able to compete for that stuff up at the top, even if they have like a couple bashos like where they don't do as well because of age and injuries and such. So I think it's doing pretty well, but sometimes it feels like it's being abused. So I personally would not be opposed to maybe rethinking this a little bit.
Let's talk a little bit more about the particular Ozeki that we currently have. The first one being Evil Takakeisho.
Evil?
Oh yeah, after the past couple of basho, absolutely Evil Takakeisho.
Yeah, it's like Sekiwaki Waki Takakage. You have to say the whole thing.
He is now
Evil Takakeisho. All right.
He is now Evil Takakeisho. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually enjoyed his longest stretch of Kyujo free basho in quite some time, as he's now completed the past 4 basho, which is remarkable for him.
He hasn't done that since early 2020.
Yeah.
He
also has back-to-back double-digit winning records, so Evil Takakeisho is doing pretty good as of late. So that being said, he's going to be the top guy that is competing on the Bansuke. Mac, is Evil Takakeisho the favorite to win the Yusho in this Yokozuna-less field?
From a sheer rank perspective, yes, he is the top rated. He should be the most favored to win. However, I don't think I can completely put all my chips behind him. I think with Wakataka Kage, Kiribayama, and Hoshoryu nipping at his heels, plus the wild card that is Mitakeumi, though I'm betting he's probably not going to do so well. Is Takakeisho favored from a rank perspective? Yes. From a performance perspective, I don't think so.
What if I offer you this nugget? The last 2 Kyushu bashos in an even numbered year, were won by Takakeisho.
My God.
Kyushu
My
2018,
No.
Kyushu 2020. It's Kyushu 2022. Let's see if 3 makes a trend.
Oh God. At,
Wow.
at
To
this stage,
I
I
can't
don't
argue
know.
with
I know.
That's just math,
speak
baby.
Nothing but facts. You
Yeah.
speak nothing but facts. To add to Mac's point of Wakataka Kage and Hoshoryu, Takakeisho lost to both of those guys last Basho.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, but one was a dirty, cheap Henka by Wakataka Kage.
Which was just desserts. It was just sweet, just desserts.
No,
One of the better
obviously,
Henkas, though.
I hope
Uh,
there's like another Henka by Takakeisho this time for Wakataka Kage.
telling you, he's making that heel turn. He's evil Takakeisho. So Mac is not sold on Takakeisho being a favorite. Does anybody have anybody else that they would put forward as the odds-on favorite to win the Basho, even if those odds are only like 8%?
Yeah. How many guys
How
are
far
there
back in
total?
the bond scare are you reaching?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying it's fairly even. Like if you have Terunofuji in there, maybe it's like 40% he's going to win it. And then after that, it's probably under 20% that any other person's going to win. It's just nobody else is going to be better than that 15% or whatever.
Okay.
I think I agree with that. Like, if it was 100% parity, if everybody had an equal chance, there's 42 guys in the division, so I think about 2.5% each. So yeah, I'd say Takakeisho is a little higher than that. No, I don't know. I don't think there's anybody that I personally would put above him. I might put like maybe Wakataka Kage and My Heart Wants Hoshoryu in that same discussion of other guys that are also kind of up there.
I'm not putting Hoshoryu up there yet. Let's get 10 wins in the Sanyaku before we start saying Yusho favorite.
No, well, no, I mean, it's
once again,
I'm quite a
Yusho
ways-
favorite is
Yeah.
not saying a whole lot right now.
right,
but
exactly. So
Yeah.
like, I mean, I don't think there's anyone I'd favor more than Takakeisho, but like, maybe Wakataka Kage is at least like on the same top tier, even though top is much lower than it normally is.
21%, you'd say?
I'm gonna propose the name of Tamawashi,
Oh,
guy who
yeah, hey, you're
won
right.
the Basho,
Sure.
You're right.
and he beat Takakeisho last Basho.
Mm-hmm.
we'll get to it in a little bit, but the stats for a Maegashira winning a Yusho would not back up a repeat performance.
Okay, yeah, but
Yeah.
not looking at ranks, looking at the person. This is a 2 Yusho guy, which is
A lot more than
Tamawashi.
anybody else has.
Like no Yokozuna coming into this. I think he has a chance as long as he hasn't partied too much.
This is also a guy that's going to turn 38 in 6 days.
Ooh.
But like
2 Yushos.
that's fair.
Damn it. He has to qualify it with 2 U shows.
All right, so Takakeisho, the betting favorite, we're going to be like, I guess
Our heart's not in it.
our heart's not in it, but it's probably the fact.
Yep.
Let's talk about our other Ozeki, our only other Ozeki, as Mitakeumi was demoted after the last tournament, having back-to-back losing records. That is somehow remarkably still Ozeki Shodai. This is another guy who had his promotion party, as it was also delayed due to COVID. So after 2 years of being an Ozeki, Shodai finally had his Ozeki promotion party.
Wait, does that mean Mitakeumi hasn't had his yet?
I would assume so, and I hope, just for the comedy of it, not for Mitake. I hope Mitakeumi gets his 10 and gets back up to Ozeki. But for the comedy of it, I would love if he got less than 10 wins and then they still like, well, you were promoted to Ozeki. We've got to have the party. Rules is
can't
rules.
not.
Rules
It's-
is
yeah.
rules.
Rules is rules.
Yay, I made it to Ozeki. Oh.
But Shodai had somebody kind of crash his promotion party. The JSA chairman Hakaku.
Uh-oh.
He spoke
Oh.
at the party, and this is a quote that we've got from an article that Sumo follower translated? That's the word.
Thank you, Sumo follower.
On Twitter. Yes. A lot of every quote that I have on this is from translated article from Sumo follower. So give Sumo follower a follow on Twitter. If you still use Twitter, if you don't use Twitter anymore, don't blame you.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be shocked if we ditch it sometime soon either.
Yeah.
But the JSA chairman, the highest guy in the JSA, Hakaku, said at Shodai's promotion party, while feeling the joy and pride of gaining a position with much history, and Ozeki should also have a sense of responsibility and tension. But I do not think present-day Shodai has attained that state. He should drive himself more, practice hard, and give it his all, and get a true sense of the responsibility of the pride of the position. Just absolute daggers from Chairman Hakaku. Just
shredded him.
Yeah. And then he followed up like, anyways, here's my karaoke version of Wonderwall.
Yeah, no, I do hope that quote ended and he just like stands there silently for a second and then raises his champagne glass for a toast.
But yeah, congratulations.
Oh yeah, by the way,
everything.
congratulations.
Yeah. Oh,
Top two rickshaw in all the sport, surely.
Yeah.
Ouch.
On the other hand, though, the last time that it was a Kyushu Basho of an even numbered year,
Oh God.
Shodai made his Ozeki debut, so that doesn't mean anything at all.
I was
And
gonna say, how'd that go?
No, it went very badly.
3 and 12. He got injured.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
Mm.
Started
But
off
it was
well.
his
He went
first
3
run
and
as
0.
Ozeki.
He started 3 and 0. Then he got hurt. Then he pulled out.
It is bad.
So yeah, Shodai, he'd be one of those guys that'd be falling under the rule. Well, you're not getting 3 or 4 Kachikoshi this year. You're getting demoted down to Sekiwake for Hatsu. He's been very back and forth this entire year. He's coming off a 4 and 11 Basho. He's been flirting with a demotion to the Sekiwake rank since his very first tournament as an Ozeki, as we just stated. He will now be Kataban for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th time in just 12 Bashos as an Ozeki. So how many wins do we think Shodai is going to get? For me, the answer is very simple. Go back to our Aki review and my grand Shodai theory. He's getting 11 wins this Basho.
Oh,
I was just about to bring that up. The parody
Careful.
exists.
Yep.
As-
He's been having mirror records all year. 6 and 9, 9 and 6, 5 and 10, 10 and 5, 4 and 11. 11 and 4 is coming up. Jun Yusho Shodai, baby.
God.
I mean,
11
he's
and
coming
4
in
is another
strong.
June Yu show. Seriously.
Yeah, he's coming in strong because he clearly already has one win where Hakaku was talking shit at his promotion party, and he's still sitting there as an Ozeki, as the 3rd ranked guy in the world. So I think that is absolutely a win before the tournament.
What about you, Flark? How many wins for inconceivably Ozeki Shodai?
Okay, inconceivably Ozeki. That sounds right.
Yeah.
I caution you with the 11 of expecting things from Shodai, or at least because as soon as that happens, like bad things
says
happen.
the man who chose Shodai to be his champ in the
That
previous
is why he's
Basho.
cautioning you.
That's why I want people to
And you
learn from my
lost that
mistakes.
one.
Yeah. Like
Exactly.
you shouldn't pick Shodai. You don't play a game of where like someone sits under a box and someone stabs his side. Like it's not a good idea. Like tap box stab. Let's
With a possible
leave that in the
stabby in
past.
there.
But no,
So
no, it's
Shodai is within the metaphorical box, and the knives are coming in from different angles.
Yeah.
The ultimate Schrodinger's cat. Is it in there? Is it in there? Is it in there?
And then
But
Chairman
anyways-
Hakaku comes in, doesn't even tap the box, just stabbing it.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
give him a warning to get out of the way.
a better Ozeki would enjoy this stab and learn from it.
Yeah.
Oh, Ozeki these days don't even know how to get stabbed.
All
No,
right, Frank, take a
I-
stab at the number of
Oh.
wins.
Shut up, Mac.
I'm feeling like Shodai's time as Ozeki has to be done, right? It's kind of waning. Like he's been like you say, like flirting with demotion in other Sanyaku ranks for a very, very long time. And because of that, I'm going to completely disregard my feelings and say he gets 8 wins. And he's going to catch Koshi and still stick around.
I mean, it's what Shodai does. He's survived
Yes.
Kadoban 4 times already. What's a 5th?
The cockroach.
Oh, he's for sure getting at least 8 wins. He's definitely staying in Ozeki. Like that is just that is happening.
What about you, Mac?
I'm gonna go one more and just say 9.
9. All right.
I think 9 wins.
It's
Have consensus.
like Thanos.
It's Shodai. This is what he does.
Like Thanos, he is inevitable. Ozeki Shodai. Forever and always. No matter.
I just looked it up. He's 89 and 81 as an Ozeki. He's like barely over 500.
Balanced as all things should be.
Yes.
He needs to get 8 wins here and then have another garbage one so that he can be completely 50-50 by the next one.
Hence the mere records right there.
All right. So we're gonna track this, see how many Ozeki that we're gonna end up with at the end of this basho. Because honestly, we could end up anywhere between 1 and 4 after this basho is over. So let's move on to our next potential Ozeki, that being former Ozeki Mitakeumi. I got a damning quote from a Mitakeumi interview from between bashos where he gave an interview and explained his losses in September by saying it's all mental, which I think we've kind of always thought about Mitakeumi. I don't really think that's a surprise for any of us, but I kind of was thinking that he had a lingering injury issue, because it looked like, I think it's back in Natsu where he had his first losing record as an Ozeki. We thought, okay, yeah, he's got to be injured. And then Nagoya came around, started pretty bad, was looking rough. And then he got pulled out due to COVID. And we're probably thinking, okay, that injury is probably still bugging him. He needed to stay in order to keep his Ozeki rank. Okay, it makes sense. By the time Aki comes around, he should be healed from that. And then Aki comes around and what he gets 6-9, 5-10 record, I think.
4-11.
And so, yeah, not a lingering injury issue, according to Mitakeumi, saying it's all mental. So Mac, how many wins are you going to be predicting for Mitakeumi here? So he is Sekiwake. In order to regain his Ozeki rank, he needs to get 10 wins this basho. Anything less will not cut it. 8 or 9 wins, he'll remain Sekiwake, but no promotion. Obviously, 7 under, he will be demoted.
Given the current field, I don't think it's gonna happen. And I think he'll eke out a Kachikosh, but I think it's only gonna be 8. I don't think he's gonna make the 11-win mark.
All right. What about
And that's a stretch. I don't think it's not looking good. So mentally, just struggle for 8 at this point.
what about you, Jake?
I think I'll take 9, because I think that, yeah, he doesn't blow up and have double digits very often, and also just the balance that we mentioned before. The universe wants Mitakeumi to be a Sekiwake forever.
Yeah,
I just think
clearly that's where he does his best work.
Yeah, I mean that's where he did his Ozeki run from.
That's what I mean. He does his best work from there.
What about you, Flarek? How many wins are you expecting from Mitakeumi this basho?
Yeah, I'm not feeling an Ozeki double-digit performance. He hasn't been in that form for a while now, ever since he had his Ozeki promotion. I'm kind of with Jake, where he's gonna like maybe get that mental thing where he gets up to 9, but he's not gonna make all the way to 10. So I'm gonna go
maybe
with
like
9.
sits at 9 for a few days in a row or something like that.
Just
could see that
stands up
happening
and
for sure.
steps out at the Tachi-ai.
Yeah, it might be dramatic. It'll be very sad because I think, like you said, Ryan, I hope that he gets it back too. I like the guy a lot, but I just have not been seeing the performance from him lately. I don't think he's gonna make it.
Yeah, I mean, he's been the past 3 bashos 6-9, 2-13 with a COVID pullout, and then he was 4-11 last time. He wasn't even 5-10. He was 4-11. Jesus Christ, Mitakeumi.
I think that's pretty cool though that he'll have 3 consecutive losing records at Ozeki. That's going to be a trivia question in a decade.
That's got to be a record.
I looked it up and I think, I'm not sure that has occurred in like the modern era, probably since 1969 when they instituted the Ozeki promotion.
Probably something roughly around exactly then. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go with 10 wins for Mitakeumi. That pretty much harkens back to our Bonsuke recap episode where I guaranteed we would get it right on this podcast that Mitakeumi would or would not be promoted back to Ozeki, because I would set myself up to be the last person to pick. And if everybody else picked that he wouldn't get Ozeki, I would pick
No.
that he would. I mean, and the
So
reason...
you're-
And
Okay,
the
go ahead.
completely honest, truthful reason why I chose 10 wins for Mitakeumi is because I think it was mental for him last time. It was losing the Ozeki rank. I think that's different pressure than regaining it back. And this is a guy that we have seen. He's most comfortable at the Sekiwake rank, obviously. He's won 3 Yusho there. As Jake said, Sekiwake is where he made his Ozeki run. That was the best stretch of his career, was at Sekiwake. I think it's a weakened field. It's definitely, I mean, he doesn't have to worry about Terunofuji. The Ozeki in front of him are Takakeisho, who I believe he probably has a pretty even record against, and Shodai. So it's not like there's a whole lot of losses just expectedly hanging around for him that you're like, oh, he's going to lose to this guy. I think he can get his stuff together. I think he can rally and get at least 10 wins to get his Ozeki rank. He's made Ozeki once before. He did enough to do it. I think he can do it again here.
Yeah. It's not so much the Rikshi ahead of him, it's the one around him. I think they've had this number the last couple of Bashas. So
yeah,
he'll have to kind of prove himself in that regard. Because I think the ones around him are getting better. And he hasn't been keeping up. So I think that's what he has to do.
I also
Yes,
have a working
keep up.
theory that being around Shodai just drags everybody down. I think he's just a talent black hole, and everything around him just kind of gets sucked up in it. So being
like
further
Sadness
away from
Inside
Mitake,
Out.
yeah, being further away from Shodai can only help Mitakeumi. All right, so right now, the bulk of the podcast has 2 Ozeki heading into Hatsu. I got 3 Ozeki heading into Hatsu. Let's see if we can add a 3rd or 4th, depending on who you are. And that is because we have Waka Takakage. So Waka Takakage also got some words from the YDC. They compared him to Yokozuna Wakanohana 1, saying that if he can clean up the beginning of the Basho, he could make Yokozuna. Waka Takakage is very... kind of
Probably
infamous.
a few Basho in between.
Yeah, maybe a couple in there.
Do you
Well,
mean
yeah,
Ozeki?
not
Or like
no. They're saying if he can clean up the beginnings of his Bashos, where he typically gets most
I
of his
see what you mean.
losses, he has the potential to become Yokozuna.
the beginning of the
Ah.
Basho in general, because his
Yes.
trend is that he
Right,
starts off
right.
more poorly.
Not
than he finishes.
if he starts 5-1, they're going to promote him to
Yeah,
Yokozuna.
wait, that phrasing threw me for a minute there.
Yeah. So Jake, do you agree with that? If Waka Takakage is able to compete like at his week 2 form for an entire Basho, for many consecutive Basho, could he become Yokozuna?
Honestly, I think so. There's not a whole lot of guys I'd pick ahead of him to become the next Yokozuna, and I think that I don't know if I don't want to speak for you guys, but I feel like Terunofuji is not like going to be around for another like 10 years or anything like that.
The thing,
10? Definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So whereas Waka Takakage is 27 and looks to be the best of that like under 30 generation so far. Other than I guess
Above-
Takakeisho, I forget how young he is.
I was going to say above Takakeisho.
Yeah, you're right.
Interesting.
You're right. Takakeisho, I forget how young he is because he made it all the way up there
I think
so
he's
quickly.
28.
He's probably also about
No.
that age, right?
20
Mitakeumi is also under 30.
Well, never mind. I guess I'll shut the hell up. Well, he'll be turning 30 like next month.
So interesting kind of tangent here. So Mitakeumi has the stats. He has more Yusho, Junyusho, and all of that. But he has more time in the top division than Waka Takakage does. Would kind of putting the stats aside, because Mitakeumi wins that once again due to longevity, would you say Waka Takakage is better than Mitakeumi?
Ooh. Well, let's see. Let's go back 2 years ago to when they would have been the same age. And Mitakeumi.
We're
already
talking
had-
currently, not comparing ages, right? Like on this Basho, on this Bonsky ranking.
Yeah,
Right now, Mitakeumi's ahead, but
I-
is
I know, I
Wakatage
know.
a favorite?
Yeah. And so I guess all I'm saying is that I think Waka Takakage is appears to be the best of the guys that made their way up around that same time as him. So like I would put him above guys like Hoshoryu, Kiribayama, Tobizaru, Kota no Waka. Like I think that he's probably the best of the guys that have yet to establish themselves long term. Maybe I should say it that way.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I guess I wouldn't be shocked if 3 years from now or so he was one of the guys that's in the running for Yokozuna. And honestly, with Terunofuji out and this Basho feeling kind of wide open, I guess I wouldn't be super shocked if he did make Ozeki. It wouldn't completely floor me, but I'm not necessarily expecting it.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I do think that he's one of the guys that I would have on my short list if I was to make a list right now of guys that could be Yokozuna out of the current top guys.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Honestly, I might put him ahead of Takakeisho on that list for me, just because you don't see the
Takakeisho.
He is older than Takakeisho, but his style of sumo is more consistent than Takakeisho's.
True. I will. Yes, that is true.
He's got a lot less wear and tear injury wise as well.
Yeah. But so Fleric, we talked about Wakataka Kage could go off this Basho, could potentially become Ozeki. 2 Bashos ago, he had 8 wins. Last Basho, he had 11 wins. So he would need 13 wins this Basho for 33 wins over his last 3 Basho. Do you think he will do enough this Basho to secure an Ozeki promotion?
13 wins is really hard. It's
It
really
is.
hard to do.
But I
So-
will say the last 2 guys that had this exact scenario were Shodai and Mitakeumi, where they had 8 wins followed by 11 wins, and then they followed it up with 13-win Yushos.
Really interesting. I completely forgot about that.
Well, Mitakeumi had 9 wins and 11 wins, and then a 13-win Yusho, but very similar.
Okay, but Shodai had 8, 11, 13.
Shodai was 8, 11, 13 was his Ozeki run.
Yeah, I remember being very surprised by that from Shodai.
No kidding.
It's hard to say. Like I think he has that determination. Kind of going to the question of comparing him versus Mitakeumi. I think at least the consistency from Wakataka Kage has been impressing me. I'm just like looking up on his sumo page right now where he's been Sekiwake, like he has a Yusho. It's been nothing but 2 double-digit wins, nothing but winning records just in the last like almost a year like right there. And so his consistency seems pretty good, which is nice. Like he's sticking around, which is what you have to do if you want to go up to Ozeki. 13 wins is a lot. I think the last two times were kind of the outlier. So I'm kind of leaning towards he might get double digit, but he's not going to quite become Ozeki. But I think he's going to use this as a stepping block with the weakened field to get an Ozeki during Hatsu of next year.
So 13 wins would get him to 33, but do you think if he got 12 wins and a Yusho, do you think that might do it? Or do you think the weakened field might be enough that it slows down their
It's
the
so hard to
promotion
say
train?
with that 8 at the beginning.
Mhm.
But he does have a Jun Yusho before. I think he would have to get the Yusho, is what my gut's telling me. Even if the Jun Yusho, I don't think would probably not be enough. But I don't know. I am not a Banzuke magician like Ryan is. So we'll have to see.
I think what's going on with the other Ozeki could determine how many wins Wakataka Kage needs. If Shodai gets a losing record, if Mitakeumi doesn't get double digits wins, if it's looking like Takakeisho is going to be our only Ozeki and Wakataka Kage gets 12 wins, I absolutely think that's an Ozeki run for him. We saw the same thing with Asanoyama, where he had like 11, 10, and 11. But because there was only one Ozeki at the time, he got a promotion off of that.
Yeah.
So I think depending on what the other Ozeki can do, that number of wins that Wakataka Kage needs to clear to get the Ozeki promotion probably goes down.
Do you think the Yusho, Jun Yusho factors into it all?
Not a whole lot. I really think they're just looking at number of wins for the most part. It might be maybe if we know we're going to have 3 Ozeki, maybe 12 and a Yusho makes a difference. But I don't think it makes too big of a difference in their eyes. I think they really just care about the number of wins.
I guess for me, like it's kind of a moot point because it's kind of the same number, the same target either way. But
Right.
I cannot imagine him getting the Yusho and not getting a promotion. You know, like I feel like there's because
if he can get the Yusho and have a good
that
enough
puts
record,
him
then yeah,
at
I think
least
it has to
12
happen.
wins anyways, and I think
Yeah.
that would 12 wins and a Yusho would be no brainer, even if that's only 32.
Mm.
So I don't know. That's my thoughts, but again, it's kind of a moot point because it's basically the same target either way.
Yeah, he has to do really well, and it's just kind of which margin it is.
As you should strive to do in sumo, do really well.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I do think he's going to be up. I think he's shown enough consistency that he's going to become Ozeki eventually. It's just whether or not it's this Basho or next in my mind.
Jake, Mac, what are your thoughts? Wakataka Kage, Ozeki for Hatsu or not quite yet?
Let's go with yes. That's more exciting.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with yes, because why not? Just why not?
I already put him in the same tier as Takakeisho, as like on the top level of picks for me. So
yeah, and we know he can dish it right back. It's like, that was some bullshit. I'm gonna give bullshit right back.
Yeah, I would love to have for Ozeki, so I'm gonna go say yes. He will do it. Ryan's just wishful thinking. I've got
correct me if I'm wrong,
11
though.
wins for Shodai. I've got 10 for Mitakeumi. I've got like 13 for Wakataka Kage. There's no way the top of the Bansuke does this well. That doesn't happen anymore.
But wait, I thought Mitakeumi needed 11 wins. Is it only 10?
It's 10.
Yeah,
He
it's
needs
10.
double-digit wins.
Okay.
So let's talk about some of the other Sanyaku Rikishi. Tamawashi. How is he going to follow up his 13-2 Yusho? I think it was Fleric earlier said, why not make him the favorite for the Yusho? He just won the last one. And I'll tell you the reasons why I'm a little sus of that.
Hit us with that sadness,
Okay.
stats, Ryan.
So there have been 34 previous Rikishi that have won a Yusho as a Maegashira. Only 12 of those 34 have managed a winning record in their follow-up Basho. And of those 12, only 4 managed double-digit wins in the follow-up to their Yusho winning Basho. The last one being Tochinoshi not too long ago in 2018. But prior to that, I think you have to go back to 1991, where he had a Maegashira win a Yusho and follow it up with
I have one asterisk on the Maegashira stat because Tamawashi, he's in the joy. Like he faced the Yokozuna in the last Basho.
Ichinojo was Maegashira too, and he went 6-9 in his follow-up.
I get there's one stat point, but I'm just saying, like a lot of these Maegashira
He's not
people,
stepping up a tier of competition. He's going to face the same guys.
There are a couple Maegashira that were like bottom of the Bansuke. They're like beating their peers, and they had like beat one person above them for the Yusho. You know, this is a guy who he like Jake said, it was his not stepping up a level of competition.
No, I completely agree with that point. He's been at this level of competition for the past year or so. He's been in the joy. So yeah, he's not going to be fighting anybody new. The only difference right now is now he's going to have K next to his name on the rankings instead of an M and a number. So Mac, how do you think Tamawashi follows up his Yusho winning performance? Is he going to buck the trend, and is he going to be the 5th Rikishi ever to follow it up with double-digit winning performance?
It's funny you bring that word up, trend, because that completely sums up Tamawashi. And that trend that I'm talking about is following up a Kachikoshi with a Makekoshi. He had a little stint there where he went 3 Makekoshi in a row, but then after that, he got a Kachikoshi, Makekoshi. It's gonna happen. I'm sorry, Tamawashi. I don't think you're gonna follow up with a Kachikoshi.
Is that true? Did Mac find a stat pattern that I didn't already know about?
Did I? Tommy
Looks like
Mawashi? Did I do it?
He's been alternating for about a year and a half. So it's
Yeah,
not like
pretty
years, but yeah,
consistently.
that's a while.
Yeah.
It is kind of cool looking on his page though and seeing him get those 3 Kinboshi in a row last or
Right?
the first half of the year.
So
forgot
no,
that he
I definitely think
owns
it's
Terunofuji
not
for
going to
some
be
reason.
good for him this tournament.
The last time, and he would only be a 2nd consecutive winning record if he got a winning record this Basho, but the last time that he had 3 consecutive winning records was in 2018. So yeah, Tamawashi, not overly consistent kind of guy.
Nope.
Yeah, I think in the stat you mentioned before, I think is that he's 38. It's
yeah, he's old.
stuff gets tough as you get older. So I think that's gonna probably be the one thing making him not the favorite in my eyes.
I know sometimes we're like we're sarcastic when we say like, well, the last two even yeared Kyushu Basho was
You pull out some
Mitakeumi wins.
bullcrap like that.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think like alternating winning and losing records for a year and a half is one of those stats where it's like, I mean, come on, like you can your brain has evolved to recognize patterns for millions of years. Like, of course, you're going to see some everywhere, right?
Exactly.
That's my thinking. I don't think that I don't really take much stock in that. I think he's going to do fine, but yeah, I don't think he's going to be one of those guys that can, win back-to-back Yusho or anything like that. I bet he'll probably get like 8 or 9, in my opinion. I don't know.
He was also recently spotlighted in the Sumo Primetime Hiro Morita YouTube channel, and like they were talking about his Nodowa attack, and it was quite good. So I think that might be a plus. And he says how he doesn't just use his arms, but he uses his lower back muscles at the same time to make sure he doesn't get injured. And
if he's
he
been
likes
training
to do.
with, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna throw out some other things, but yeah, go ahead, Jake.
I was just gonna say, if he's been training with Hiro Morita, he's gonna be on his game.
Oh, bravo.
Okay.
Bravo.
It was a fantastic thing. He, of course, Hiro Morita was getting himself into just dumb situations. He's like, yes, I can sumo wrestle this guy who just won the Yusho. And so they set up a scenario where Tamawashi, like he had like a grip on Tamawashi's belt from behind. Like it should be a very disadvantageous grip for him. And then like, so okay, I'm gonna see if I can win from this position. Let's go. And the only thing Tamawashi does is like shake his hips, and Hiro Morita just falls to the ground. Powerful hips on Tamawashi.
Behold the power.
On Tamawashi.
Everyone knows Hiro's game is strongest from the front.
That double inside grip from the front of the Mawashi.
But also from the back with the flip of his hips.
So with the newfound knowledge of Tommy Mawashi's hip power, I'm moving him to the top of the pack for favorite to win the Yusho. All my research and stats be damned. Note on Kiri Bayama, he was Kyujo during the Jungyo tour as he had surgery to alleviate sinusitis in both sides of his nose. He says that surgery should not affect his participation, so we should expect Kiri Bayama to participate. He says, I hit with my head, but I intend to do that without fear.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I like that quote. I hit with my head, but I intend to do it without fear.
Unless his technique is to hit with his nose, I don't think this is going to be a huge deal.
Right?
Yeah.
Tobi Zaru, he is going to be making his Sanyaku debut. He probably had the most surprising result of the Aki Basho, getting 10 wins at Maegashira 1 when that was his career high rank. Jake, will Tobi Zaru be able to keep up that same pace and get a winning record in his first Basho as a Sanyaku Rikishi?
No, absolutely not. That's all. I mean, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, no follow up, but it's just done. Drop the mic.
No, he's somebody that has a long ways to go to prove to me that he can be consistent, especially because he's just wild in the ring, and that's just not something that lends itself to consistency.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that I've really learned about sumo as we've been watching. It's like anybody can peak once a year, maybe, but that consistency to stay at the top is rare. And I mean, we say it with almost everybody. I gotta see it before I believe that they're going to be able to hang there. But for Tobi Zaru, a guy of his size, a guy of his style, I really do need to see it before I believe that he's going to be able to stay in the Sanyaku ranks Basho after Basho. Like a guy like Koto Nawaka, who hasn't been in the Sanyaku ranks, once he gets there, I'm not going to have to see him perform in the Sanyaku ranks over and over again before I believe he'll do it. I think he can do it even now. Tobi Zaru, I'm going to need to see a couple more Bashos like that before I believe he can stick around and be a force at the top here.
Yeah. The only other time that he had even been in the Joy was a Basho where he went 5-10 from Maegashira 2. And the Bansuke was wild, and he only got demoted 1 rank and subsequently got 4-11. he absolutely has so much to prove up here before I will trust him.
So that leaves two Rikishi in the Sanyaku ranks that we have not discussed yet in depth. That is Hoshoryu and Daisho. Anybody have anything to say on either of those guys?
Hi. We acknowledge you on the Bansuke.
I'm hopeful that Hoshoryu is turning a corner because he's able to stay in the Sanyaku ranks here. So that's nice. I've always wanted him to succeed, so I guess that's cool.
Yeah, I want to see double digits from Hoshoryu here. He's a guy that we've kind of pegged like Ozeki Yokozuna, and getting 8-7 wins at Sekiwake rank and being able to stay around there is a good sign of that. But I really want to see him turn that into double-digit wins here sometime soon. I feel like he has the potential to do that, but then just doesn't have the follow-through on some days for one reason or another. It feels like a match he should have won that just lets go for some reason. So I want to see a little bit more consistency, and I want to see some double-digit wins from Hoshoryu here. As for Daisho, Jake is going to hate it because it's a pattern, but Daisho just kind of goes back and forth. Winning records, losing records. Apparently, you can't look at a guy's history and think that he's going to follow his previous history.
He's doomed.
Well, we evolved to
It's
look
not
at patterns for a long time there, Ryan. It's
That was a perfectly valid point, Mac.
Yeah.
Hoshoryu, only 23 though. We got time to be patient with him, I think.
Absolutely. Other noteworthy Rikishi along the Bansuke, we have Takayasu. He is back up at Maegashira 1. An important note, he had to pull out of the end of the Jungyo tour with an injured toe. Takayasu, guy that has struggled with injuries. We'll kind of see how much that affects him. Ichinojo, if you're expecting a bounce back basho from Ichinojo, apparently he injured his back in the Jungyo tour, had to pull out at the end there. That's the thing that's kind of been Ichinojo's kryptonite. So we'll see how he handles that. Abi, who was completely absent from the Aki Basho, he was back at the Jungyo tour. So he was Kyujo from Aki due to having surgery to have floating cartilage removed from his right elbow and left ankle. And he also had some bone tips smoothed, which I didn't know that was a thing you could get done.
That's just an unappealing phrase again.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And he had an interview on October 15th, and the doctor's opinion is he may make it to Kyushu. Doctor said it depends on the elbow, or Abi said it depends on the elbow. I don't want to rush it. So it sounds like Abi is a guy that's kind of on the fence, but my guess is if he misses another full basho, he's going back down to Juryo. I don't think he wants to do that. I think Abi is going to fight in this tournament.
Yeah. Even if it only means like 3 or 4 wins, that would probably keep him in the top division because he's only at M9 right now.
Yeah, I think we saw Shima no Umi I think he had 1 win when he was Maegashira 9 that kicked him down. And I think 1 or 2 more would have saved him. So yeah, 3 or 4 should be plenty for Abi. I honestly expect probably Kachikoshi from Abi here. I don't think this is going to be too bad for him, but who knows? Another guy wanted to make sure we talked about one of the other June Yusho winners from the previous Basho, Ryuden, had 11-4 record for Maegashira 12. Ryuden's kind of followed the same path that Abi took after both of them had similar suspensions for similar things. Got back to Makushita, won Makushita Yushos, got back into Juryo, won Juryo Yushos, back in the top division. Abi was at Maegashira 15. He got a 12-3 record. Ryuden was at Maegashira 12. He got 11-4 record. So we know how that ended with Abi. He followed it up with another great record from Maegashira 6, got into the Sanyaku ranks. Ryuden right now is sitting at Maegashira 6. So, Fleric, do you think Ryuden will continue to follow the same path as Abi in his return from his suspension and get another double-digit winning record here?
Yeah. I think one important distinction between him and Abi is Abi was kind of a Sanyaku mainstay, or at least up in the Joy. And Ryuden was kind of mid-Bansuke, I think, before he had his suspension. And that's where he's kind of ranked right now. So I think it's not going to be double digit. I think he's going to probably start, looking for that long stat line of going 8-7, 7-8 back and forth, just to infuriate Jake and just kind of keep that pattern up.
Just
and
long
continue that
enough for
till the end of
somebody to
time.
bring it up on the podcast. And
Yeah.
exactly.
No, I'm not expecting big things from Ryuden.
He also had a pretty weak schedule last time as far as the
Yeah,
junior
that
show
too.
goes. So yeah, I mean that 11-4 looks great it looks better on paper than it does like in practice, I think.
Yeah. He's back where I think he belongs. So I think
But
he'll probably stick
It is
around.
it is funny to me. We talk about it every once in a while, but these guys' careers mirror each other's so freaking well. They debuted in the same Basho, Hatsu 2018.
Top division.
Yeah,
at
they
the same time.
debuted in the
Reedon
top
is-
division. Yeah.
Reedon's definitely a few years older, but yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, they both debuted in Makuuchi in Hatsu of 2018. They both had 10 wins and got a Kanto Show Fighting Spirit prize. They both debuted at the Komusubi rank and the same Basho in Nagoya of 2019. They both got suspended for COVID reasons in Nagoya.
Like 2 or 3 bashos apart, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
2 or 3 Bashas apart from each other. They both fell down to Makusha. They're both coming back to the top. It's uncanny how similar the careers of Ryuden and Abi have been after they've made it to the top division for 4 full years.
Yeah. Especially considering that their wrestling styles polar opposite.
Vastly different.
Absolutely.
One of the purest pushers and one of the purest grapplers.
So we have had 2 straight Bashos where the winner came from the Maegashira ranks. Maegashira 2, Ichinojo in Nagoya, and Maegashira 3, Tamawashi in Aki. Could we do it 3 straight times? And if we did, which Maegashira has the best chance of winning a 3rd straight Maegashira Yusho? Mac, which Maegashira do you think has the best chance to win the Yusho this Basho?
That would be tough to analyze, but I have an answer. I'm going to go with Koto no Waka. He's got the youth. He's got the proven capability. And the last time he did 7 and 8, he had to go he was Kyujo for 4 of his matches. I think he's definitely a force to be reckoned with. I think he's the best to buck the trend.
Continue
All
the
right.
trend.
Okay, continue the trend. Excuse me. Continue.
Yeah, yeah.
Buck, continue. One of those. The trends.
It's
Lines,
always
numbers.
bucking the trend when Maegashira wins, no matter what.
You're right.
Yeah,
Even
thank
if the
you,
trend
thank
is
you.
the Maegashira winning. Yeah.
Mhm.
Koto no Waka was going to be my initial answer, but for something a little different, I'm going to go with Abi. The last time we saw him around this spot in the Bansuke, he did have a 12-3 record. He had back-to-back 12-3 records the last 2 times he was a Maegashira. So he's coming off a Basho where he wasn't competing. Obviously, he had surgery, so recovering from that. But last time he was in this range, he got 12-3 record. We've seen 12-3 records good enough to win the Yusho. So why not Abi this time?
Why not Abi?
I mean, it was Ichinojo and Tamawashi. Why not Abi?
Why not Abi?
Fair enough.
What about you, Flarek?
That's I'm gonna go with Meisei. Mostly because I just
Why
read a
not
training
Meisei?
report.
Why not Meisei?
Because why not Meisei? Need I say more? No, I read a training report. I think where Hoshori and Meisei were kind of like doing some intense training for like a while or something like that. So it sounded like he was pretty serious along with Hoshoryu. I think with that seriousness and kind of like attitude going into the Basho, I think he has probably some potential to maybe get a Yusho if he gets
I
some
wonder
momentum.
if any of the other Rikshi thought about training for the Basho. Maybe that would give them the edge over Meisei.
Yeah, I know. That was in the training reports. So it's
Okay.
impossible.
No.
Only Meisei and Hoshoryu practiced for this one.
Only them.
What about you, Jake?
I'm Takayasu, like of course. Why would I?
With
why
the
would I do
injured
anything
toe.
else?
Cinderella story.
Who needs toes?
Should have
That's why
seen it
God
coming.
gave him 9 more, so he's gonna be fine.
Honestly, if it's an injury to the pinky toe, just cut it off. You'll be fine.
It's not the
What's it
big
even
toe.
good for?
Yeah. Is that like the thing that like you need for balance? The pinky
Yeah,
toe?
it's the one you need for balance.
Oh God, yeah, very badly. Yeah.
No, you have to have the pinky toe for balance.
So let's hope it's one of the middle ones.
You're like, we can survive without those.
All right. We have one Rikishi that is making his top division debut, and it's a hotly anticipated top division debut. That is one Atami Fuji. He is 20 years old. He's been in sumo since 2021. January 2021 is when he made his Jonokuchi debut. I guess if you want to get technical, November 2020 is when he was in Maizumo, and I guess that's probably technically his debut. Whatever.
Oh my
He
God.
is okay. He is in.
Wait, we can't move on until I have an answer to this, Ryan.
Once again, if you want to get technical, he debuted in 2020. That's when he was Maizumo. All right. He is in the Issei Gahama stable alongside Terunofuji, Midori Fuji, Nishiki Fuji, Takano Fuji, and Terutsu Yoshi. So Issei Gahama has 6 Rikishi in the top division right now. Don't even need to look it up. I know that's more than anybody else. When he debuted in Jonokuchi, he won the Yusho. He followed it up by winning the Yusho in Jonidan. Then he spent 1 Basho in Sandanme, got a 6-1 record. That was enough to get him up to Makushita. And then he spent 4 Basho in Makushita before being promoted to Juryo. No losing records when he was in the lower ranks at all. His first Basho in Juryo, he had his first losing record, a 7-8 record, but he followed it up with 3 consecutive winning records and has made the top division in just 12 Bashos, tied for the 8th fastest rise to Makuuchi in history, not including Makushita Tsukidashi's. And of the Rikishi ranked ahead of him on that list, only 2 did not make it to the Sanyaku ranks. So a quick rise to the top division usually means pretty good things for your career.
It tends to correlate with being good at sumo. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yes. But once again, don't look at patterns. That doesn't tell you anything.
Shouldn't have just. I don't know why I even show up.
I'm just
I don't
quickly
deserve
checking.
this.
Yeah.
I probably do deserve this.
Atami Fuji kind of stood out to me because once again, he was highlight on Sumo Prime Time. That's Sumo Prime Time.
There you go.
It's,
You have to do it right, Flick.
It's actually great to kind of get at least a little bit of a idea of Rikishi personalities. So I highly recommend it. And one thing I took away, his smile, he has a amazing smile. And I have a Kitamiyama quote to kind of go with this. The first of all, he says he trained at home today, 64 bouts, 64. Even though I'm Sekitori now, I am trying to do the number of training bouts I did when I was ranked in the lower divisions. 60 is about usual. Which
Wow.
Well,
That's
I
quite a few.
know Kakuryu had a quote a while back kind of saying that the younger guys aren't doing as many practice bouts as he did and guys of his generation did, where I think Kakuryu was kind of doing that volume. And so I kind of like seeing Atami Fuji doing that much. Probably not good on your body. Obviously, the extra matches are going to be extra wear and tear, but it is extra practice, extra knowledge, and it might be one of the reasons why he rose that high. Also, I don't know if the younger guys typically do a lot more practice bouts than the Sekitori and the Heias. I'd be interested to see if that is fairly common throughout, and you just kind of reduce your practice as you get better and know what you're doing.
Maybe
Yeah.
you don't need to do. Maybe you don't need to do bouts as much when you're older. Maybe the technique is there, and you just need to work on your body more or something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
the focus is less on gaining experience and more on injury prevention or something like that.
Well, that could be.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was amazing because I never really heard 60 in total. So this guy is a workhorse apparently. But continue on with the quote. He goes on to say how Issei Gahama Oikato was yelling at him because I was going for the upper left-hand hold, but he failed to do so and caused him to be very angry. I looked shameful today. I just couldn't get it done, although I was told what to do. It's inexcusable. And then his famous smile returns after the session. I love sumo, and have been doing sumo while laughing since I was a senior in high school. I'll be up in Makuuchi next Basho, and I wonder if I'll be able to show the same coolness. So he likes doing sumo and smiling. He might give Chiyomaru a run for his money as
Ooh, I gotta see it. I gotta
the
see
biggest
it
teddy
first.
bear.
He's got meme potential then.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
The sumo and babes quote. He might
He
be
didn't know me.
approaching that territory.
Yep. We have 4 Rikishi, including Atami Fuji, that are going to be at their career high rank. Tobizaru, Kota Nawaka, and Nishiki Fuji join Atami Fuji. So we are going to do our thrive or take a dive. So which Rikishi do we think will thrive at their new rank? I'm going to go with Kota Nawaka here. I've thought for a while this guy's got Ozeki potential. He's been doing pretty solid in the Joy for a few basho now. Being Maegashira 1's not really all that different from Maegashira 2. I think easy winning record for Kota Nawaka here, as long as he can avoid those roundhouse slaps from evil Takakeisho. What about you, Mac? Of these 4 Rikishi, who do you think is going to thrive at their new rank?
I think the new kid's going to do well on this one. I got a good feeling from Flair String. I think Atami Fuji.
All right. What about you, Jake?
I'm going to agree with you. Kota Nawaka. He seems like a guy that could be turning a corner any day now.
And Fleric.
I'm gonna go with Atami Fuji as well.
Yeah.
Like I want a smile to do well.
Yeah,
I want him to.
I got to do it for the memes, man.
Yeah,
You hyped yourself up. I get it.
yeah. Do sumo while with a smile on his face.
Yeah,
That's what I
exactly.
want.
How can you not bet it? This is great.
All right. I think I can save us a trip around the horn here. I think we're all not expecting great things for Tobizaru. What are we thinking about Nishiki Fuji? He's going to be at Maegashira 5. This will just be his 3rd basho in the top division, but he does have 10 wins in each of his first 2 tournaments so far. What are our thoughts in general on Nishiki Fuji's potential for this upcoming basho?
I'm kind of pessimistic, just because I think that he is moving up a very clear tier of competition. He's not in the Joy, but he's right at the edge of it. So an injury or 2 pulling out could have him against the Sanyaku. I'm a little pessimistic, but I don't know. It less strong feelings than the other guys, you know?
Yeah, looking at his schedule last time, fighting guys in the Joy, he was 1-4 after he started off 9-2. Or sorry, 1-3 against the Joy. He started off 9-2, and then he started facing guys in the Joy the final 4 days and was only able to win one of those matches. And that's going to be kind of closer, similar competition that he's going to be seeing this time around. So yeah, might be tough for Nishiki Fuji here. Yeah. But who knows? He could surprise us in what he does. Mac, are there any other Rikishi between the ranks of Maegashira 1 and Maegashira 4 that we have not talked about enough at this point you want to highlight?
Wakamoto Haru. I think he's going to be one of those guys that could be surprised, a bit of a dark horse. So that's about all I have to say. It's like, I think he's going to be a dark horse for this one.
Yeah, Wakamoto Haru had a 10-5 record, his best record in the top division last basho from the Maegashira 6 rank. His previous time that he was at Maegashira 4, he had a 6-9 record, his only losing record in the top division. We'll see how he fares his second go round at that rank. I think that's a good poll. I think Wakamoto Haru has been one of the surprising stars of the year as we are now entering the final basho of the year. He debuted in January and has had 4 winning records out of 5 basho, started Maegashira 15, and now he's kind of knocking on the door of the Joy and could be entering that upper range of the Bansuke any time now. Fleric, are there any Rikishi between the ranks of Maegashira 5 and Maegashira 8 that you want us to highlight?
Hey, you just put me like my eye on the Nishiki Fuji, like how he had 2 bosses where he did really well. But we already talked about that guy, but definitely kind of walk him. I think Hokuto Fuji I'm going to keep an eye on. He is someone who's a Joy mainstay, and he had a really good basho last time. I would love to see him get back up there and competing with everyone.
Why not Hokuto Fuji win the Yusho? It kind of almost happened last time. Why not this time?
Because why not?
Because he's another guy that alternates wins and losses. I'm starting to think that Rikishi just alternate winning records and losing records a lot.
I wonder if there were
weird.
Unless you're Ozeki or Yokozuna, I think guys kind of just alternate winning records and losing records pretty often.
It's like the Bansuke works to get you roughly where you are skill-wise, where the people above you are better and people below you are worse.
Funny how that works.
Flair,
Funny.
I know your mind has evolved for millions of years to recognize patterns, but I don't know about this one. Well, the section that I've got is boring, so I'm going to talk about Ura.
Clearly not boring.
Ura is up at Maegashira 3, which is not like his number 1 highest rank ever or anything like that. He's been Maegashira 1 once and Maegashira 2 once. But this is he got an 8 and 7 from Maegashira 3, and I'm hoping that this is kind of the beginning of him finally like being healthy enough to stay at where his potential has always kind of made it seem like he would go. He's always felt like, like a Komusubi kind of level guy to me. So I don't know. I hope that he can stay up there just because he is very exciting and fun to watch.
Yeah, I read something where he went to Fukuoka, the island city where the basho was held a little bit early. He's been training there a lot, and like just had a lot of support from the locals. And I think a big goal he's shooting for is to get into the Sanyaku. I think so. Also to not be injured. So I think like you say, like with the Komusubi kind of thing, I think that's what he's kind of shooting for. And he's right on the door, like a good basho, he can potentially get up there.
Oh yeah.
And Jake was absolutely right. I gave him the range of Maegashira 9 to Maegashira 12 to try to find somebody interesting. I challenge anybody else to find somebody besides Abi, who we've already talked about, interesting to talk about there. Takanosho would probably be the only one. Can he make it back into the Joy Sanyaku ranks after recovering from his injury? Kind of disappointed in his 8 and 7 last basho from Maegashira 10. So is that Maegashira 9 this time? We'll see how he does. I've got Rikshi between the ranks of Maegashira 13 and Maegashira 16. Gotta give a big welcome back to GSB's favorite whipping boy, Kageyaki, back in the top division. We can talk smack about him again. He is somewhat relevant. So we could shit on Kageyaki again. That's a good time for everybody. Also, Oho, buddy, you gotta learn how to fight a full 15 days. You're not in Makushita anymore. You've got 8 more matches after the first 7. You got to learn how to start winning those, because my boy does not know how to win in week 2. This is his second basho out of 4 in the top division, where he lost his final 5 matches when he was 7 and 3, and he lost his final 5 matches to go 7 and 8. The second time this has happened. He's got to fix that if he's to meet the expectations that a lot of people have for him.
The other 2 times he only got 1 win in those final 5 days. So there's that too.
Yeah.
I'm not counting a Fusen win as a win.
No,
not when the trend is that strong.
Yeah, buddy needs to figure some stuff out.
Yeah.
Start doing some cardio. Get some stamina training going. All right. Just a couple quick notes in the lower divisions. Down in Juryo, still some exciting young Rikshi down there. We've got Itami Fuji, who we're hyping up down in Juryo. He's made his Makuuchi debut. Juryo 6 and 7 is the ranks to watch in Juryo this time. We've got Hoku Seiho, Keen Bozan, and Tochi Musashi at those ranks. These are all young guys coming up pretty fast. I would expect all of those guys to be up in the Makuuchi division sometime next year.
Also, Roga finally making his Juryo debut.
Yep, yeah, absolutely.
He's a guy that was on a pretty hot streak when we were out in Japan in like 2019, and for the next year or so did pretty well. But then he just stalled hard at the top of Makushita.
Yeah, I remember we were able to watch Roga fight when we were in Japan on Nagoya 2019 day 8, and my mind is telling me that he fought Terunofuji on that. No,
he fought Terunofuji that tournament.
He did,
but it was day 11. We saw him fight Oh No Joe.
Oh No Joe. Yeah.
Oh No Joe.
For some reason, I thought he fought Terunofuji that day, but yeah, he did not. And he lost to Terunofuji in that match. So memories are fallible.
Even Ryan's.
Even mine. Well, it wasn't completely numbers based, so.
Yeah. I know he got a 5 and 2 that tournament, but
yeah, exactly. Also down in the lower divisions, Asanoyama moves up from Makushita 15 to Makushita 4. 5 wins from Makushita 4 typically is enough to get you back in Juryo. 6 would just about lock it up, but he needs to get 7 wins. He's a former Ozeki who's won a Yusho. The one loss he had last tournament is kind of embarrassing for him. I'd imagine he wants to clean that up and get a 7-0 record here and get back into Juryo.
Yeah.
Ishiura is down to
Whitey's-
Makushita 50. Holy cow.
Ishiura, I think he's been absent for the past 4 tournaments.
Oh,
Yeah, he's just dealing with some. I think it's still his neck.
I think he's on the fast track to Intai. I mean,
Yeah,
he's down
I
at
think so, too.
Makushita 50. He's already 32 years old. Neck injuries are no joke. I don't know if he's competing in this tournament. The Torikumi is going to be coming out sometime tomorrow, so we'll see if he is on the list of matches. But yeah, he's missed the last 3 tournaments. He had made it up to his career high rank, Maegashira 5, and he injured his neck then, and it's just been a free fall since then. So real tough luck for Ishiura there. Hopefully he gets better, but I would not put any hope into that, unfortunately. Little bit of news before we get Flaric's first punishment of the Basho, where he needed to write and record commercials for each of our 3 main episodes during the Basho. So Kokurai and Koto Shogiku both had their Danpatsu Shiki, their haircutting ceremonies between the Basho. So both of them are fully retired and with brand new haircuts. With that, we will go to break and get a word from our sponsors.
If you enjoy the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service.
You can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search for Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Support the show on Patreon and check out our blog, grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com.
If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, drop us a line at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com or give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO.
Also, watch us on YouTube.
Oyakata. Are addicting video games distracting your deshi from training? Are they buying waifu skin cosmetics instead of focusing on their athletics? Well, worry no more! Our Chanko Tech gaming and workout peripherals will not only keep the gamer Rikishi happy, but the sumo-minded Oyakata as well. Introducing our Teppo Gray mechanical keyboard. This Rikishi-sized keyboard comes in at 5 by 14 feet, wall-mounted for ease of access. With its concrete-grade switches, each key press takes 4,000 newtons to register, the exact same force needed for its successful Supari attack. Watch your deshi dance along the wall with pinpoint Supari as they tell their teammates to go fuck themselves. What a sight to behold. Want them to work on their lower body? No problem! Introducing a wireless huge effing Brock gaming mouse. Spec'd with the weight of your average Ichinojo and a staggering 2-hole DPI, your Rikishi will be pushing this thing all across your Dohyo mousepad for even the simplest of mouse actions. Yes, Chanko Tech gaming and workout peripherals are cutting edge, guaranteed to keep their gaming skills dank while moving up the Bansuke ranks. Order now, and we'll include a vintage Kakuryu lunchbox. Chanko Tech gaming workout peripherals. Order today.
Oh, nice.
I love the
throwback.
callback. I love the callback.
No problem. Yeah, it took a lot of talking with people to actually get that made. They were a little suspect of making a bunch of like Rikishi themed peripherals that also double as workouts. But I told them, just trust me, there's a huge market for this, and just go for it.
You neglected to say there is a very small but oversized market, I guess.
A rotund market.
Yeah, exactly.
Surely this
Anyways.
won't bite me in the ass later on.
No.
That warehouse of Kakuryu lunchboxes is finally going to move.
Yeah.
So our GSB belt has not moved since the end of the last tournament, which is fortunate.
Weird.
But Shiden, Shiden went 6-1 from
Wait,
Makushita.
hold on,
70s.
Jake. Are you not tracking all the Jungyo matches?
Oh Lord, Shiden went 6-1
no.
from Makushita 7 and has now moved up to the very last slot in Makushita. He's Makushita 1 East.
very
Damn it!
Top spot.
What? Yeah, what did I say?
Last.
Yeah, whatever. But
I mean, I get what you're saying, but We strive for
He-
technical correctness.
If
on
he
all
could have
points
gone
here.
one more rank, we finally could have had this dang belt up in the paid ranks. But I don't know. Either way,
Not so.
Makushita 1 East Shiden is where our GSB belt currently resides and will begin the Kyushu tournament. Shiden is 30. He went to Nihon University and he spent the last 8 years in Makushita. So not super high hopes for him long term, but I'm just hoping that this belt can make some progress. Yeah, the one time that Shiden made Juryo, he promptly missed the whole basho and got booted right back down. So,
Yep, and that was because he was Hidenoumi's Tsukebito when Hidenoumi went to the illegal gambling
Ooh.
thing and got suspended for that. So Shiden
That
also got
bummer.
suspended for that.
I forgot that. Yeah. Too much Sumo and babes for those guys.
Yep, absolutely. So let's dive into our champ chump predictions. Fleric, you are our reigning defending loser, which means you get first pick of champs on this basho. Who do you want to be your champ?
All right. I gotta go with the person I've been talking up this entire boss show. Which is obviously Takakeisho. 100%.
All right.
Evil
Fleric-
Takakeisho. Thank
Evil
you.
Takakeisho.
Thank you, Ryan.
Fleric
I'm
has
sorry.
Evil Takakeisho. Next pick is mine. I'm gonna go with Seki Wake Wakatakakake.
Damn it!
I mean,
hoping for that one.
You kind of knew.
Yeah, I know, but still, I had hope.
Now Mac has to actually scramble and figure out who he wants to pick.
God.
Hold on. Mac is good for an off the wall pick. I want to see if I can predict where he's going with this. He's been
Shodai.
he's been talking up Koto no Waka a decent amount on this episode, but I'm gonna say he chooses Hoshoryu. No,
Excellent
Tamawashi.
prognostication. Yes, Hoshoryu.
I should have stuck with it.
Yeah, that's
That's a shame, Jake.
that's pick 1, 2, and 2A for me. So yeah, I don't know. I could basically pick anybody else at this point and
yeah,
have
at
the
this
same
one,
amount of
it's just
confidence.
open field.
I guess I'll go with Koto no Waka. It'd be
There you go.
fun to root for him and see if he actually is, if he's arrived.
All right. So Jake, you get the first chump selection.
Kageyaki.
Oh,
The shade begins.
Yep.
Like
I'm picking
it's
with
like
my
he
heart
never
this
left.
time around for sure.
I am also going to pick with my heart. I'm going to go with Sadanoumi.
Oh, for a second there, I thought Max like, I'm also gonna select Kageyaki.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
that to pick with your heart, Mac, that means that you have to actually have like opinions on Sadanoumi, and that surprises me.
Well, my opinion was he's going to suck. So yes,
Yeah, there you go. Okay, fair enough.
Interesting spot because Midori Fuji's still there at Maegashira 3. He did good at Maegashira 1 last time, but can he repeat that performance again this time? Don't know. But also Azumaryu's right there.
Right where?
Maegashira 14.
Oh, okay.
Azumaryu, historically, not good in the top division.
All good thoughts, but Kageyaki.
I gotta-
I appreciate your thought
yeah.
processes before I pick mine, so I know good picks.
All right, Midori Fuji.
Hot damn.
Ooh, all right.
I too once thought Midori Fuji was not going to do well.
Second time's a charm.
Shucks.
Go for
Do
Shodai.
I go for
Do it.
Tobizaru? No,
Choose
I'm
Shodai.
done with Shodai. I'm done. I said never again like 2 years ago, but this time,
But this
Never
time I
again.
mean it.
I'm gonna go with Tobizaru. He's
All
he's not Sanyaku material, right? Right?
That's what we've been saying. We'll see how that
But he's
works
wild.
out. For
He's
us.
a wild card.
I guess we'll find out.
All right. So Jake, the power is yours as you are the owner of the Takayasu teacup of punishments, petty cash, and patron compliments. Please draw the punishment from the cup.
So for this one, we decided to just like have it written down and roll a die. Comes up as a 1. Which one is 1?
Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss punishment it is.
All right.
Yar.
So
I mean, Pikachu.
Some people are going to be very confused by that.
yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah, for people not benefiting from the video feed, we decided to apparently put on masks. At least when I returned to the call, everyone was wearing costumes. So I have a little Pikachu hat. Mac has like some kind of yokai devil like demon thing.
Kidnap Mr. Dr. Seuss? Nightmare Before Christmas, dude.
Okay, like some kind of made up kind of
some
like
sort of nonsense.
arcane thing that no one knows about. Jake is a pirate, and I believe Ryan is his boring old self.
Well,
Ryan is Ryan.
I was a construction worker, but then Flarek brought attention to the fact of what we were doing and ruined the whole thing. So took the hat off, and now I can actually wear my headphones.
Yeah, probably. I mean, Pikachu.
So yes, we will have Dr. Seuss punishment. I think we'll probably still try to follow the trend of doing the punishment on the following preview episode that will allow the punishee time to do their punishment. We'll figure out something to do with this on the recap episode.
Right.
But we also made predictions at the beginning of this year prior to the Hatsu Basho, where on the line we have the title of Dai Yokozuna. And after 5 tournaments, tied for the lead are Flarek and Jake that have 6 points on the year so far. And basically everything is going to come down to the Ozeki. Jake has predicted that we will have they have similar predictions for Ozeki. Both predicted we will have 2 Ozeki at the end of the year. Jake predicted Shodai and Mitakeumi would be our 2 Ozeki, and Flarek predicted Shodai and Hoshoryu would be our 2 Ozeki. Could also come down to whoever wins this. If you win this Basho, you'll get a prediction series point. So probably coming down to Jake or Flarek. If something weird happens with the Ozeki, maybe I get that win somehow. Mac can sneak his way in there as well. It's really wide open, but the leaders are Jake and Flarek for the title of Dai Yokozuna, which they will be addressed as for the entirety of our Sumo Award Show episode.
So fun things going into the end of the year.
Yeah. A lot of us are very disappointed. We predicted a lot of U shows for Terunofuji. Each of us predicted at minimum 3 U shows for Terunofuji. He's only gotten 1. Each of us predicted at least 1 Takakeisho U show, and that hasn't happened. Jake and Mac. Yeah, yes. It is an even numbered year in Kyushu, which we all know is when Takakeisho likes to strike. And Mac and Jake both correctly predicted a Mitakeumi U show, so that's fun for them, I guess.
Yay!
Yippee!
So that's we'll go more in depth on all of our predictions that we made at the beginning of the year, how it actually stacks up with what happened at the end of the year after this Basho is over and we have the final standings. But that is where it currently stands. Bold predictions. We need more bold predictions on Twitter. We posted that thread a little bit later than we usually did, as I was on vacation when we usually post the bold predictions thread. So send us your bold predictions. If your prediction is the one we deem to be most accurate, you will win a free Grand Sumo Breakdown t-shirt. We also are fulfilling our obligation to a $3 patron, that being patron great Rod Lunsford, who asked us if you guys could do any other kind of podcast besides sumo, what would it be? And that's easy for me. I NFL. I just switched to another sport. What about you guys?
For me, I already tried for a little while. For about a year, I did one on movies called Real Therapy, REEL Therapy. Get it? It's a pun. It's very clever.
Oh.
But movies was really fun. But I think it would also be kind of funny. I certainly will not have the time to do it, but since I got a kid due this winter, I think it'd be really fun to do like a every week or every other week, just like what weird crap did I learn about being a dad? I think that would be kind of fun.
Oh yeah, we could do that one together.
Like I said, no way I'll have time for it. But
No, as I'm finding out with one podcast, very difficult to find
It
time
turns
to
out, yeah.
devote to that when you've got a little one running around and just causing chaos everywhere.
I think I'd like to do a game review one, whether it's D&D, whether it's Magic the Gathering, anything like that. I just think a fun gaming review podcast would be fun.
Speaking of which, I got God of War Ragnarok today, so I need us to wrap this up so I can get in and start that. I've heard
I have
very
my
good.
Sumo deck that I have to do for Magic the Gathering. So we have other things that we need to do.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you have some there's Sumo Magic cards that were released recently, weren't they, Mac?
Yeah, yes, just a moment. Let me find him somewhere. Go ahead, talk about
yes, we need to wrap this up so we can do things. Wait, let me show you my Magic cards.
You guys don't even know.
You're right, I don't. Magic,
Flair,
Magic the Gathering completely eludes me, and I have no understanding of any of it.
Yeah, it's I don't know, for me. The thing that kind of scares me, and like honestly with this podcast that kind of scared me, is like the idea of like something that just never ends. So I like things that have
you can complete, that you can win.
Yeah, I like something that has like a natural end. I think would probably be the thing. Like, and maybe it could be something as open ended as like just what I want to do, and it could just like end at any time. But it's I don't know.
That's right. We are holding Flair hostage to doing this podcast ad infinitum.
Yeah, I've
No,
always thought that Go ahead, Flair.
The moment I no longer have fun like hanging out with my friends, I'm gonna be out, definitely, totally.
Yeah.
But this is continue to be a blast. I still kind of like you guys, even when
Flair hates our scheduled hangouts on Zoom where we just get to talk about sumo and fun things for 2 hours. It's a burden to him.
It is.
No, I definitely like that part.
thing.
I definitely like the scheduled hangouts. We just happen to talk about sumo, which is kind of the. Someday we'll talk about other random things like podcasts and magic cards.
So you have the Lion Sash, which is clearly Akesho Mawashi, and E Honda himself. This is
it was
amazing.
Street Fighter.
And he's sumo champion. Spread out the secret layers. This is amazing.
Anyways,
I've created a sumo themed magic deck, and it has been surprisingly fun, and I've beaten a lot of people with it.
But no, it'll probably be something with my interests, which is other sports. I guess Liverpool esports. There was actually a world championship this past weekend for League of Legends, which was fantastic.
Bad news for you, Flaric. Liverpool is also going to be playing games forever. So that podcast would also never end.
That's true. It will have to the scope would have to be something in the ranges of like whatever is my fancy or something like that.
Yeah.
But it probably includes some ultimate frisbee in there somewhere as well. Well, who knows? It will probably be no scope at all with no actual release schedule at all, just whenever I feel like it. I think that would be my ideal podcast I would do.
Yeah,
just like this segment. And honestly, ever since I was a young boy,
let me
tell you, I was thinking.
I need to go to bed, you guys.
Well, one thing
you need
real
to
quick.
edit this, Jake,
I know,
and then you can sleep.
I can't
One
edit
thing,
until
real quick.
you guys shut up.
Mama Angie got all of these on my shirts, on my nice polos. So now I've got fancy GSB shirts that I can wear to work now.
All looks very nice.
Yeah, thank you.
I need fancy GSB shirts that I can wear around the house.
I can click stop record like at any time here, you guys.
No, absolutely not. All right. What is everybody most excited for this basho? We'll start with Flaric. No, that's always a bad idea. Let's start with Jake.
I'm excited just because this is probably my last sumo tournament without a baby. So I'm going to be able to pay a lot more attention than I will in the future. But no, I think the other thing that is extremely exciting about this one for me is I have a wild schedule for sumo for this month, because this weekend I'm going to Houston to help with that tournament. Then I have the Basho for 2 weeks, and then we have the Ronin Sumo tournament in Florida that we are going to help stream. So it's just going to be a lot of sumo during this home stretch of waiting for the baby.
Oh, I forgot. I had another answer for the podcast one. Too bad, Jake. So something that all four of us could do, and something we need to do, is we just need to be one of those other like D&D podcasts. That way,
absolutely,
we would actually play D&D together.
It would
It
need
has
to be
been so long.
immediately successful monetarily, so that it would actually get our asses together to play D&D.
Yeah.
If only there was some sumo themed thing we tried to do on the podcast together
Ooh.
and had a couple sessions before we completely forgot about it. Oh wait,
that-
there were a couple episodes
Oh my
like
god!
that.
Okay, who's next?
Flarex had enough time.
Pikachu.
Fine, I'll go. I'm most excited to see if another Maegashira can actually take home the Emperor's Cup. Like, can we seriously go for another Maegashira to win other than just, all right, come on. I'm down for it. Let's do it.
What about you? Is it me? Is it my turn?
It is
think it's you, yeah.
I know you're just playing with your hard hat, but you gotta do something here. You gotta give an answer.
It's very difficult to wear headphones and a hard hat at the same time. I want to see Wakataka Kake. I want to see how well he does. I would love to see an Ozeki promotion for him. Just the Ozeki rank, the fluidity there. We could end up, like I said, anywhere between 1 only Evil Takakeisho there, or we could end up with 4 Rikshi there feasibly. So I just kind of want to see what happens at that rank and the guys surrounding it. So this Basho is going to begin on Sunday, September. Why does it say Sunday, September 11th? That is something I did not edit. What's this Sunday?
13th.
November 13th. Sunday, November 13th. The Aki Basho started Sunday, September 11th. Don't wait for that. That's
November 13th.
That's gone. November 13th. Kyushu Basho. That's when it starts. I
Ryan's
promise.
just messing with that helmet. He just can't get the sumo together. The song we used for the ad was Mining by Moonlight by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under Creative Commons 4.0, just so that that's covered.
Mm-hmm.
Well done, Jake.
I don't know how to do that. I just made sure to put it in the notes that we had to say it.
You said all the important words, I think. So
I think so.
So excited for sumo. Anybody have any last words before we head out?
Mac, you should tell us more about your magic cards.
Yeah.
They're awesome. Get into playing Magic.
No, I want to see every single individual one.
And could you
that
tell
would
us the
take way too
story
much
of how you
time.
got into it as a little kid?
Well,
Start from the
actually,
beginning.
I was a young
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Until next time.
Throw your salt high.
And keep moving forward.